Xawemutashi, Emperor of Zonwondon, just a boy, some would say. He was only 21 years old, yet he ruled a mighty empire. His presence commanded respect. He was tall and imposing. His silver hair flowed down his back like a waterfall of moonlight. His eyes, deep brown and intense, held the wisdom of ages. Xawemutashi was no ordinary ruler. He was a descendant of the Dragon Kings. His veins pulsed with ancient mystical power. He was born to rule. Destiny had chosen him. Xawemutashi was a study in contrasts. He was young, yet he possessed an ancient wisdom. He was a warrior, yet he valued peace. He ruled with an iron fist, yet his touch was gentle. His power lay in his tranquility. He was a master of his emotions. He did not rush into decisions. He weighed his options carefully. Every word he spoke, every action he took, was calculated and precise. His reign was a time of prosperity. The people of Zonwondon flourished under his rule. They loved him. They trusted him. They would follow him to the ends of the earth. Xawemutashi was a master of the blade. He wielded the katana Zomnizolechi. This was no ordinary weapon. It was a family heirloom, passed down from generation to generation. It was forged in the heart of a dying star. Its blade was said to be sharper than a dragon's claw. Zomnizolechi was more than a weapon. It was a symbol. It represented the Emperor's power. It represented his connection to his ancestors. It represented his destiny. The Emperor treated the katana with reverence. He knew its power. He knew its significance. He would not hesitate to unleash its fury upon his enemies. Xawemutashi was a beacon of hope. He was the guardian of destiny. But his burden was heavy. The fate of Zonwondon rested on his shoulders. He was constantly surrounded by enemies. They plotted against him in the shadows. They sought to seize his throne. They sought to plunge the empire into chaos. Xawemutashi did not fear them. He was ready to face them. He would protect his people. He would defend his empire. He would fulfill his destiny. He was, after all, the Emperor of Zonwondon. Xawemutashi was born in the royal palace of Zonwondon. From a young age, he exhibited extraordinary abilities. His parents, the king and queen, knew he was destined for greatness. They nurtured his talents and prepared him for the throne. Xawemutashi's childhood was filled with rigorous training and education. He learned the art of war, diplomacy, and governance. He was a prodigy, mastering everything he was taught. His parents were proud of him, and the people of Zonwondon looked up to him with hope and admiration. As Xawemutashi grew older, he faced numerous trials. These trials were designed to test his strength, wisdom, and character. He faced fierce warriors, cunning adversaries, and treacherous landscapes. Each trial was more challenging than the last. But Xawemutashi never faltered. He faced each challenge with courage and determination. He emerged victorious every time, earning the respect and admiration of his people. These trials shaped him into the leader he was destined to become. Xawemutashi was not alone in his journey. From the very beginning, he was accompanied by a group of steadfast allies who shared his vision and dreams. These companions were not just followers, they were integral parts of his mission, each bringing their own unique strengths and perspectives to the table. Their journey together was not merely about reaching a destination, but about the bonds they forged along the way. He had loyal allies who stood by his side. These were individuals who had proven their loyalty time and again, through thick and thin. They were there not just in moments of triumph, but also in times of despair, offering support and encouragement when it was needed the most. Their loyalty was not born out of obligation, but out of a deep-seated respect and admiration for Xawemutashi and his cause. These allies were skilled warriors, wise advisors, and trusted friends. Each one of them had a role to play, and they played it to perfection. The warriors were fierce and unyielding, their skills honed through years of training and experience. The advisors were wise and insightful, their counsel invaluable in navigating the complexities of their mission. And the friends were loyal and dependable, their unwavering support a constant source of strength for Xawemutashi. They supported him in his endeavors and helped him overcome the challenges he faced. Whether it was scaling a treacherous mountain or navigating a dense forest, they were always there, lending a helping hand and offering words of encouragement. Their support was not just physical but emotional as well, providing the strength and motivation needed to keep going even when the odds seemed insurmountable. Together, they formed a formidable team. Their combined strengths and abilities made them a force to be reckoned with. They were not just a group of individuals but a cohesive unit, each member complementing the others and working together towards a common goal. Their determination and resolve were evident in their every action, their every decision as they faced the challenges that lay ahead. They worked tirelessly to protect the empire and ensure its prosperity. Their efforts were not limited to the battlefield, but extended to every aspect of their mission. They built, they cultivated, they strategized, all with the aim of ensuring the continued prosperity and security of the empire. Their dedication was unwavering, their commitment absolute, as they worked day and night to achieve their goals. Xawemutashi valued their loyalty and friendship. He knew that without them, his mission would be impossible. Their loyalty was a source of great comfort and strength for him, and their friendship a constant reminder of the importance of human connection and camaraderie. He cherished each and every one of them, knowing that their bond was what made their journey possible. He knew that he could not achieve his destiny without their support. Their unwavering belief in him and his mission was what kept him going, even in the darkest of times. He was deeply grateful for their presence in his life, knowing that their support was the foundation upon which his success was built. Their belief in him was a constant source of motivation, driving him to push forward and achieve his goals. Among them was the fierce warrior, Kale, whose strength and bravery were unmatched. Kale was a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield, his skills and prowess striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. But beyond his physical strength, Kale was also a source of inspiration and motivation for the group, his bravery and determination a constant reminder of what they were fighting for. Then there was Leora, the wise advisor, whose counsel was sought by many. Leora's wisdom and insight were invaluable to the group, her advice helping them navigate the complexities of their mission. She was a calming presence, her serene demeanor providing a sense of stability and reassurance in times of uncertainty. Her counsel was not just practical but also deeply insightful, helping the group see things from different perspectives and make informed decisions. And let's not forget Rin, the trusted friend whose loyalty never wavered. Rin was the glue that held the group together, his unwavering loyalty and dependability a constant source of strength for everyone. He was always there, ready to lend a helping hand or offer a word of encouragement, his presence a comforting reminder that they were not alone in their journey. His loyalty was not just to Xawemutashi, but to the entire group, his commitment to their mission unwavering. Each brought their unique strengths to the table, creating a bond that was unbreakable. Their individual strengths and abilities complemented each other perfectly, creating a synergy that made them a formidable team. The bond was not just based on their shared mission, but also on their deep respect and admiration for each other. They were more than just allies, they were a family, their bond unbreakable, and their commitment to each other unwavering. As they faced perilous missions and daunting challenges, the bond between Xawemutashi and his allies grew stronger. Each challenge they faced together only served to strengthen their bond, their shared experiences creating a deep sense of camaraderie and mutual respect. They faced each challenge head-on, their determination and resolve unwavering, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. They were more than just comrades in arms, they were a family. Their bond went beyond their shared mission, their deep respect and admiration for each other creating a sense of family and belonging. They celebrated each other's successes, supported each other in times of need, and stood by each other through thick and thin. Their bond was unbreakable, their commitment to each other unwavering. Their unity and resolve were the bedrock upon which the Empire of Zonwondon stood. Their combined efforts and unwavering commitment were what kept the Empire strong and prosperous. They were the foundation upon which the Empire was built, their unity and resolve the driving force behind its success. Their bond was not just a source of strength for them, but also for the entire Empire. Their unity and resolve inspiring others to stand strong and work together towards a common goal. In moments of triumph and despair, they stood together, their spirits intertwined with a singular purpose, to safeguard their beloved empire. Their shared mission and deep bond gave them the strength and determination to face any challenge that came their way. They stood together in moments of triumph, celebrating their successes and achievements, and in moments of despair, offering support and encouragement to each other. Their spirits were intertwined, their shared purpose driving them forward and giving them the strength to overcome any obstacle. Their collective efforts were a testament to the power of unity and the strength of friendship. Their success was not just a result of their individual strengths and abilities, but also of their unity and friendship. They worked together as a cohesive unit, their bond and shared purpose driving them forward and giving them the strength to overcome any challenge. Their collective efforts were a testament to the power of unity and the strength of friendship. Their success, a result of their unwavering commitment to each other and their mission. And so, with his allies by his side, Xawemutashi continued his journey, ready to face whatever destiny had in store for him and the Empire of Zonwondon. Their bond and shared purpose gave him the strength and determination to face any challenge that came his way. With his allies by his side, he was ready to face whatever destiny had in store for him and the Empire of Zonwondon, their unity and resolve the driving force behind their success. Together, they were unstoppable, their bond and shared purpose giving them the strength to overcome any obstacle and achieve their goals. Despite his many allies, Xawemutashi also had numerous enemies. These adversaries were not just mere nuisances, they were formidable foes who posed significant threats to his reign and the stability of Zonwondon. Each enemy had their own reasons for opposing him, driven by jealousy, ambition, or a desire for power. The intricate web of enmity that surrounded Xawemutashi was a constant reminder of the precarious nature of his position. These enemies were jealous of his power and sought to overthrow him. They saw Xawemutashi's influence and the loyalty he commanded as obstacles to their own ambitions. The envy that festered in their hearts drove them to conspire against him, each plotting their own schemes to bring about his downfall. The corridors of power were rife with whispers of dissent, and the air was thick with the tension of impending conflict. They plotted in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. These conspirators were masters of subterfuge, using secrecy and deception as their primary weapons. They held clandestine meetings under the cover of darkness, their faces obscured by hoods and masks. Every whispered conversation, every furtive glance, was a piece of a larger puzzle designed to dismantle Xawemutashi's rule. Xawemutashi was always vigilant, aware of the threats that surrounded him. His keen senses and sharp intellect allowed him to detect even the subtlest signs of danger. He trusted few and kept his inner circle small, knowing that betrayal could come from any quarter. His eyes were always scanning the horizon, his ears attuned to the slightest hint of treachery. He took measures to protect himself and his empire. Fortifications were strengthened and loyal guards were placed at key positions. Xawemutashi understood that a strong defense was essential to deter his enemies. He invested in the latest technologies and strategies to ensure that his strongholds were impregnable. His preparations were meticulous, leaving no stone unturned in his quest for security. He was a master strategist, always staying one step ahead of his enemies. Xawemutashi's mind was a labyrinth of plans and contingencies. He studied the movements of his adversaries, predicting their actions and countering them with precision. His ability to anticipate and outmaneuver his foes was legendary, earning him the respect and admiration of his allies and the fear of his enemies. He knew that the fate of Zonwondon depended on his ability to thwart their plans. The weight of responsibility rested heavily on his shoulders, but Xawemutashi bore it with unwavering resolve. He understood that the future of his people and the prosperity of his empire were at stake. Every decision he made was guided by a deep sense of duty and a commitment to protect those who depended on him. Among the most dangerous of his enemies was the cunning sorcerer, Malakar, whose dark magic posed a constant threat. Malakar's powers were formidable, and his knowledge of the arcane arts made him a formidable adversary. He wielded his magic with malevolent intent, seeking to undermine Xawemutashi's rule through fear and manipulation. The sorcerer's presence was a dark cloud that loomed over Zonwondon, a reminder of the ever-present danger that magic could bring. There were also the rogue warlords, led by the ruthless Grulak, who sought to claim Zonwondon for themselves. Grulak and his band of marauders were a constant menace, their raids and skirmishes disrupting the peace and stability of the empire. These warlords were driven by a lust for power and a desire to carve out their own territories. Their brutal tactics and relentless aggression made them a formidable force that Xawemutashi had to contend with. And in the political arena, the treacherous councilman Veldor worked tirelessly to undermine Xawemutashi's authority from within. Veldor was a master of political intrigue, using his influence and cunning to sow discord and dissent among the ranks. He manipulated alliances and exploited weaknesses, always seeking to erode Xawemutashi's power base. The councilman's machinations were a constant source of tension, forcing Xawemutashi to navigate the treacherous waters of politics with care. Each enemy brought their own unique challenges, forcing Xawemutashi to remain ever watchful, his mind always calculating the next move. The diversity of threats required a multifaceted approach, and Xawemutashi's ability to adapt and respond was crucial to his survival. He balanced the demands of military strategy, political maneuvering, and magical defense with a deft hand, always seeking to stay one step ahead of his adversaries. The stakes were high, and the price of failure was the fall of Zonwondon. The consequences of defeat were unthinkable, and Xawemutashi was acutely aware of the gravity of his situation. The survival of his empire, the safety of his people, and the legacy of his reign all hung in the balance. This knowledge fueled his determination, driving him to push beyond his limits and confront the challenges head-on. Yet, with his allies by his side and his unyielding spirit, Xawemutashi faced his enemies head-on, determined to protect his empire and fulfill his destiny. His allies were a source of strength and support, their loyalty unwavering in the face of adversity. Together, they formed a formidable force, united by a common purpose and a shared vision for the future of Zonwondon. Xawemutashi's leadership inspired confidence and courage, rallying his people to stand firm against the threats that loomed. In the face of such adversity, Xawemutashi's resolve only grew stronger. Each challenge he faced, each enemy he confronted, only served to harden his determination. He drew strength from the support of his allies and the knowledge that his cause was just. His resolve was a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of perseverance and the indomitable spirit of a true leader. His enemies were formidable, but they underestimated the strength of his will and the loyalty of his allies. The bonds of trust and camaraderie that Xawemutashi had forged with his supporters were unbreakable. These relationships were built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to the greater good. His enemies, blinded by their own ambitions, failed to recognize the true power of unity and the resilience of a people united in purpose. Together, they would navigate the treacherous waters of betrayal and conflict, emerging stronger and more united than ever before. The trials they faced were daunting, but each challenge was an opportunity to grow and strengthen their resolve. Xawemutashi's leadership provided a steady hand, guiding his people through the storm and towards a brighter future. The journey was fraught with danger, but their collective spirit and determination would see them through. As the shadows of his enemies loomed large, Xawemutashi's light shone brighter, a beacon of hope for Zonwondon. His presence was a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope could prevail. The light he carried was not just a symbol of his leadership, but a testament to the enduring spirit of his people. It was a promise that no matter the challenges they faced, they would rise above and emerge victorious. The battle for the Empire's future was far from over, but with courage, wisdom, and unwavering determination, Xawemutashi and his allies stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The road ahead was uncertain, and the threats were many, but their resolve was unshakable. Together, they would forge a path forward, overcoming obstacles and seizing opportunities. The future of Zonwondon was in their hands, and they were prepared to fight for it with every ounce of their strength. As the shadows of his enemies loomed large, Xawemutashi's light shone brighter, a beacon of hope for Zonwondon. His journey was not an easy one. It was fraught with challenges and adversities that would have broken a lesser man. But Xawemutashi was no ordinary leader. He was a visionary, a man of unparalleled courage and wisdom. His enemies were many, and their shadows cast a long and dark pall over the land. Yet, in the face of such overwhelming odds, Xawemutashi's resolve never wavered. He stood tall, his light piercing through the darkness, guiding his people towards a brighter future. The battle for the Empire's future was far from over, but with courage, wisdom, and unwavering determination, Xawemutashi and his allies stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They were a formidable force, united by a common purpose and driven by an unyielding belief in their cause. Each warrior, each ally, was prepared to lay down their life for the greater good. They knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, but they also knew that with Xawemutashi leading them, victory was within their grasp. The air was thick with anticipation, the ground trembling under the weight of their collective resolve. Xawemutashi's reign was marked by peace and prosperity. Under his wise and just leadership, the empire flourished. Villages thrived, marketplaces bustled with activity, and the people lived in harmony. It was a golden age, a time of unprecedented growth and development. The seeds of prosperity that Xawemutashi had sown bore fruit, and the empire reaped the benefits. His policies were forward-thinking, his governance inclusive. He understood that the true strength of an empire lay in the well-being of its people, and he worked tirelessly to ensure that every citizen had the opportunity to prosper. He was a just and wise ruler, beloved by his people. His benevolence knew no bounds, and his subjects adored him for it. He was not just a ruler, he was a father figure, a guiding light. His speeches were filled with hope and inspiration, his actions driven by a deep sense of duty and compassion. The people cheered for him, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love and respect. They saw in him a reflection of their highest ideals, a leader who embodied the very essence of what it meant to be great. His legacy was one of strength, wisdom, and compassion. He was a leader who led by example, a man whose actions spoke louder than words. His strength was not just in his physical prowess, but in his unwavering moral compass. His wisdom was not just in his strategic brilliance, but in his ability to understand and empathize with his people. His compassion was not just in his benevolent policies, but in his genuine care and concern for every individual under his rule. He was a leader who truly understood the meaning of service, and his legacy was a testament to that. He left an indelible mark on the history of Zonwondon. His achievements were not just monumental, they were transformative. He reshaped the very fabric of the empire, leaving behind a legacy that would endure for generations. His name was etched in the annals of history, his deeds recorded in ancient scrolls. He was a man who had changed the course of history, a leader whose impact was felt far and wide. His legacy was a beacon, a guiding light for future generations, a reminder of what true leadership looked like. His story was passed down from generation to generation, inspiring future leaders. Around campfires and in grand halls, the tales of Xawemutashi's bravery and strategic brilliance were told and retold. Elders recounted his exploits, parents shared his stories with their children, and leaders drew inspiration from his example. His story was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a story that inspired, a story that motivated, a story that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. Xawemutashi's name became synonymous with greatness. His name was not just a part of history, it was a symbol of excellence, a benchmark for all who came after him. Statues were erected in his honor, his name engraved in stone. He was a leader who had set the standard, a man whose legacy was a testament to the heights that could be achieved through courage, wisdom, and compassion. His name was a source of inspiration, a reminder of the greatness that lay within each and every one of us. He was remembered as the greatest emperor Zonwondon had ever known. His reign was a golden age, a time of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The people of Zonwondon honored him, not just for his achievements, but for the values he embodied. He was a leader who had given his all for his people, a man who had dedicated his life to the service of others. His memory was cherished, his legacy celebrated. He was a leader who had left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of his people, a man who would be remembered for generations to come. His legacy lived on, a testament to his extraordinary life and achievements. His tomb became a place of pilgrimage, a site where people came to pay their respects and draw inspiration from his life. Historical landmarks bore his name. Ancient manuscripts recorded his deeds. His legacy was not just a part of history. It was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. In the annals of history, his deeds and virtues were written in golden letters, a reminder of what true leadership looked like. His achievements were not just monumental, they were transformative. He reshaped the very fabric of the empire, leaving behind a legacy that would endure for generations. His name was etched in the annals of history, his deeds recorded in ancient scrolls. He was a man who had changed the course of history, a leader whose impact was felt far and wide. His legacy was a beacon, a guiding light for future generations, a reminder of what true leadership looked like. The tales of his bravery and strategic brilliance became legends, told around campfires and in grand halls alike. His story was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a story that inspired, a story that motivated, a story that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. Parents would recount his stories to their children, instilling in them the values he cherished. His story was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a story that inspired, a story that motivated, a story that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. Even as centuries passed, the spirit of Xawemutashi continued to guide the people of Zonwondon. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His principles of justice, unity, and compassion served as the foundation upon which future civilizations were built. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. The empire flourished not just because of his extraordinary reign, but because of the enduring legacy he left behind. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. In the end, Xawemutashi was more than just an emperor. He was the embodiment of hope, the epitome of greatness, and the eternal guardian of Zonwondon. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was a shining beacon, illuminating the path for all who sought to follow in his footsteps. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them. His legacy was not just a part of history, it was a living, breathing testament to the power of courage, wisdom, and compassion. It was a legacy that inspired, a legacy that motivated, a legacy that reminded everyone of the greatness that lay within them.